All right, here we go. My first time recording a two-handed live playthrough. Little nervous because there's a lot of mistakes I could probably make trying to keep track of two decks, but I'm going to give it a shot. This is the suggested fellowship that came in the Angmar Awakened repackaging of the player cards. We're going to take it up against the first quest in Angmar Awakened. It's Intruders in Chetwood. 1A, stop the war party. Let's walk through setup together. So we are going to add two different locations to the staging area. I have chosen Rugged Country. It gets +2 threat if you're questing against a side quest. And then I have also chosen a location called Shrouded Hills. It has X threat, where X is the number of quest cards in play. And then it would surge if there was only one quest card in play. But because we added it to the staging area, we don't have to trigger that surge. If we revealed it, we would. Okay, in the staging area is also an Orc War Party. Really nasty. 40 engagement. 3/6, 3/6. It cannot have attachments. While Orc War Party is in the staging area, enemies in the staging area cannot take damage, and we cannot win if an Orc War Party is in play. All right, so we got a big baddie up in staging right from the get-go. I'm going to assume you watched the other videos so you know what the heroes do, but if you didn't or you forgot, you can pause the video here and read the hero text and look at the stats of the two different decks that are being played. We also have a friendly ally with us. It's Iarion. He's XXX4, Dunedain Ranger. X is the number of quest cards in play. The first player gains control of him. Response: after a side quest is revealed from the encounter deck, he readies. If he leaves play, the players lose the game. Side 1B, 30 progress needed. It's the only quest card in this quest. Enemies do not make engagement checks. At the end of the refresh phase, each player raises his threat by 1 for each enemy in the staging area. We have to control Iarion to win. When we defeat the stage, we win the game. Okay, so starting threats of 32 and 30, and I'm really excited to do this. So I played both of these decks separately. They both have a weakness that is the strength of the other deck. So these two decks are going to work very well as a fellowship. I strongly believe that that is truly the intention of these two decks. Yes, they work alone, but they struggled. But together, they should do fine. And when I first started playing this game, I played almost exclusively two-handed solo. I would run two decks at once. And honestly, it's the most fun way to play. You get the benefits of ranged and sentinel and being able to basically use all 4 spheres because you can play attachments on the other player's deck. You can shore up weaknesses in the other player's deck. You can have decks focus on certain things. It's my favorite way to play. Two-handed solo is my favorite way to play, but we'll see how it works out when I try to make a video doing it. It's going to be a lot to keep track of. Okay, opening hand. Here we go. Playing this Dunedain deck solo, I really wanted to try to get willpower in my opening hand. Now I don't care. Now I want combat stuff. Okay. Oh, awesome. Okay, so Steward and then Gather Info's good. There's Faramir. That's nice. And then Ranger Cardland and the Sword of Numenor. Fine. This is great. I got Steward. I got a side quest. I got a chump. It's great. All right, let's look over here. I want my willpower boost. I want Elven Light. I get Stand and Fight. The Long Defeat. That's going to be really helpful. I also get a Hammersmith. Hennemarth. Not as useful in two-handed. A Harp and Elven Light. Wow, what a great hand. Two really good hands, so we should have a really good game here. Let's start the round. All right, the Dunedain deck is player 1 because it has Iarion, and we draw another side quest, Send for Aid. That's nice. And then over on the Elves side, we get Protector of Lorien. Okay, very good. All right, so I don't want to put a side quest in play because that's going to boost everything in the staging area if I try to quest against it. So let's just start out by putting Steward. It's tempting to throw it over on the other side because that side's probably going to be needing resources more than a Dunedain deck later in the game. But in early game, I'm going to need the resources. So let's put that on a Marthiel, and then Marty's going to spend 1 leadership resource to put in a Snowborn Scout. He will put a progress on that Rugged Country, and I think I'll leave this as is. I can sneak in that Ranger of Cardland if I engage an enemy that I don't think I can handle. All right, Elven Light being discarded per Arwen's ability, so I can gain a resource. I could also give it to Aragorn if I wanted. So I now have 3 spirit resources. I'm going to put Protector of Lorien on Arwen, so she can discard a card 3 times per phase to boost her willpower or her defense. So trying to get my willpower ramped up on this side of the table. Elven Light can only be played from your discard pile, and when you pull it back into your hand, you get to draw a card. I found the Weaver, and then I'm going to spend my 2 spirit resources, and I'm going to put in the Silver Harp. The Silver Harp can be exhausted after you discard a card, and then you put that card back in your hand. I put that token on Arwen to remind me that I've used her ability this round, and I'm up against 6 threat. So I need to try to make some progress here, or at least not raise my threat. So if I send Aerion, Eowyn, and Arwen, I'm sending 8, and I can boost it by 5 if I need to. I needed to leave somebody ready on the elf side of the table. Enemies don't make engagement checks, but there are cards that put enemies in play engaged with you. Card number 1, Treachery, Weight of Responsibility. Reveal 1 encounter card for each quest card in play. All right, great. I'm glad I didn't add any quest cards to the staging area. That's a great one to get right now. It just surges into the outlying homestead. 2 threat, 8 progress. Doomed 1, and then while it's in the staging area, you can't reduce your threat. That stinks, especially when you get 2 of them, because it's pretty much impossible. And then, oh my goodness, Autumn, please make an alt art for this card. It's Sudden Assault. When revealed, if the total willpower of characters committed to the quest is greater than the total threat in the staging area, each enemy in the staging area makes an immediate attack. Okay, so right now, we're even. It's 8 against 8. Okay, so I'm not getting attacked by the war party. Let's keep reading. If no attack was made this way, search the encounter deck and discard pile for an orc war party and add it to the staging area. Shuffle the encounter deck. This effect cannot be canceled. Okay, great. We're getting a second orc war party in the staging area. Wonderful. So that's going to add 3 more threats. So right now we are under questing by 3. No worries, we can discard cards in the action window that happens after staging to adjust our willpower. So let's discard 1 card to, let's say, Eowyn, and that boosts our willpower by 1. And then I can discard 2 cards to Arwen per Protector of Lorien. So I'm going to discard Hennemarth and the Weaver, and then I'm going to yank back the Weaver, the Weaver with the Silver Harp. So there we go, I just added 3 willpower. We quested even. All right, let's travel. I think we're going to go to this rugged country so I can put a side quest in play and not have that get +2 threat. Let's engage a war party. So this thing is going to be attacking for a lot, and we have a Snowborn Scout. So that's what they do. Ooh, and another war party was the Shadow. That's good to get out of the encounter deck. So my Snowborn Scout is dead. And here's what's really cool. So Aragorn is reducing the defense by 1. So Amarthiel for 3, Halbarad for 2, Aragorn for 3. That is a total of 8. -1 defense is 9. That's what it takes. So we were able to kill an orc war party on turn 1. And because Aragorn participated in an attack that destroyed an enemy, I can grab that other orc war party and drag it down. And now we don't need to raise our threat by 1 at the end of the round. That was very successful. All right, let's go into the next round. Okay, let's continue to build our board states. We get Stand and Fight. That's great, although Hennemarth isn't a good target, but the Snowborn Scout across the table is. And then Hour of Wrath is a nice big combat event. We're going to move Aerion over to the other player because they are now first player. And then, Elven Light being pulled out of the discard pile. And we get a Test of Will. That's great. I'm going to discard Elven Light to Arwen, and then redraw it again, and we get the Erebor Hammersmith, which is nice because I can pull back the Long Defeat if that gets in my discard pile. Over on the other side of the table, we're going to put Send for Aid into the staging area, so it costs 1, 6 progress to complete. When it's defeated, we each get to search our top 10 cards for an ally and put it in play. So a side quest can be chosen as the current quest, and it stays the current quest through the quest phase. Once you go into the next phase, it is no longer the current quest, the main quest is. Okay, so that means Aerion is now questing for 2, and the Shrouded Hills is a 2 threat location. The Sword of Numenor is going to go on Amarthiel. He's going to get +1 attack, and if he helps destroy an enemy with 5 or more hit points, you exhaust the sword and collect a resource. I was thinking of putting it on Aragorn, but I know Marty will never quest, so he's most likely to be ready almost all the time. Halbrad's also a good choice, but Marty hits for 3, so he's a good attacker, assuming I have somebody else to defend Okay, I'd like to send a little more willpower this time. I have the stand and fight in hand, so I can grab a snowborn scout if I get enemy over on the other side. All right, we get a enemy that's 3 threat, and then we get, surprising speed. Each player returns 1 enemy engaged with him to the staging area. If no enemy was returned to the staging area this way, surge and doomed 1. Okay, well, we are going to return 1 enemy, so it does not surge. So that's good. I'm just doing some math to see if I need to cancel this. And here we have one of my first mistakes. So Halbrad should have been committed to the quest. I'm engaged with an enemy. He would have committed to the quest without exhausting. So I should have 2 more willpower committed. And I don't think it would have mattered, though. I think I still would have canceled this thing because I wouldn't have been able to make the progress by adding the war party back up to the staging area. So what I'm going to do is discard cards to boost my willpower, and then the Silver Harp yanked 1 back, and that lets me put 2 on the active location and 6 on the side quest and clear it. So like I said, even if I had done the math right, I would have still needed to cancel this, and that's okay. So I'm glad I was able to clear this side quest. The Elves deck is really good at adding on willpower after staging. Now let's look at the top 10 cards and put an ally into play. Now whoever this is going to die because I'm getting attacked by that orc party, and so I really needed to clear this. If I hadn't cleared it, I think I would have been screwed because I believe in my mind I was thinking I could use stand and fight to bring back my Snowborn Scout, but it would have been under the control of the elf player, not the Dunedain player. So I'm glad we cleared this thing. I kind of realized I made a mistake going into the quest phase when I realized stand and fight would not put an ally under the Dunedain player's control. Let's see what ally we get over on the elf side. Okay, a bunch of cheapies. She has an enters play ability, but I don't really need that. Welling Hall Preserver's nice. Northern Tracker and Galdor. Okay, well, there's 2 nice allies. I think I will put in the Northern Tracker because you can get a lot of locations in this quest, and he'll start being able to put progress on them when he commits to the quest. Okay, so now I'm going to give the decks a shuffle. So yeah, I got pretty lucky that I was able to get that ally. If push came to shove, Aragorn could have defended it and he might have lived. And now I'm going to make another mistake. I'm going to engage the Marauder up in the staging area with the elf deck. I don't need to, because assuming Faramir just dies and nothing crazy happens, I'll be able to kill the Orc War Party and drag the Marauder over to me. I kind of forgot about Aragorn's ability here. So I am going to engage that Marauder up in staging with the elf deck, even though I don't have to. After I travel, I don't want to travel to the homestead because that makes me reveal an encounter card. So let's just go there, 5 progress needed. And then, yeah, they don't make engagement checks, so I didn't need to engage that guy. And let's take these attacks. So Northern Tracker can defend here. He could live, and oh, good, thank goodness. Bye-bye. Okay, that goes away. He takes 1 damage. And then on the other side, Faramir's going to die. And he's definitely dead. And I don't mind him going into my discard pile because stand and fight is in hand on the elf side, and I can easily spend spirit resources to pull an ally out of a discard pile. And so Faramir is a good target. Plus, I have another copy in my hand. Okay, once again, I'm able to kill an Orc War Party. So we've killed 2 Orc War Parties in 2 turns. And this time I get a resource for doing it. And now I should drag that Marauder over from the elf side to the Dunedain side. And I realized that I should do that a little bit later in this next turn. Okay, we're on turn 3. On the elf side, we get Henemarth, not as useful in a 2-player game. And then on Dunedain side, Secret Vigil. That's also not useful as long as that outlying homestead is up in staging, because I can't reduce my threat. I'm just going to spend money and put Faramir into play. I got tons of resources over on the Dunedain side, and the elf side is always spending their spirit resources. So Faramir's now in play. All right, I'm going to spend full price and put in the Ranger of Cardolan. He has an ability to kind of bounce into play when you engage an enemy. I'd rather just get the body on the table because I can afford it. And we have nothing else except I could put gather information in, and that'll let each deck search for a card. So I think I will. It's going to help us each find a key card we're looking for, and the other side, the elf side of the table, has the long defeat. Aerion is questing for 2 again. Okay, over on the elf side of the table, let's once again spend the resource, Elven Light. Hasty Stroke, okay, that's nice. I can cancel a shadow. So I'm going to try to keep some spirit resources. I'm going to discard a card to get a second spirit resource thanks to Arwen's ability. And there we go. The long defeat. So after the attached quest is defeated, each player can either heal 5 damage among characters in play or draw 2 cards. It's a great attachment when you're playing a bunch of side quests. And then, like I said, I have the Erebor Hammersmith in hand, and I can pull the topmost attachment out of a discard pile. And so that lets you keep playing the long defeat on these side quests. So that works. Okay, I'm going to spend a resource for Stand and Fight. And what I'm going to stand and fight is a Snowborn Scout. And I'm going to grab it from the Dunedain player's discard pile. And it goes in play under the Elf player's control. And I'm going to place 1 progress on the outlying homestead. So now there's 7 to go there. 7, my gosh. The reason I did that is because I want to have at least 1 chump over on the elf side. Let's commit to the quest. We're going to go against Gather Information. The active location has 5 progress. So Aerion is 2. The Ranger of Cardolan is 2 more, so that's 4. And then I realized, hey, Halbarad should have been committed to the quest last round. I wonder if that would have changed anything. Okay, moving on. Eowyn for 4 more, and then Arwen for 3 more, so that's 7. So that's 11. 11 against 2 with Faramir and a bunch of ways to discard cards. So lots of ways to mess around with your willpower after staging. Okay, so I go to reveal the card, and this is when I'm like, wait a minute. Aragorn can grab enemies when he defeats somebody, and they don't have to be up in the staging area. They can be engaged with another player. I'm so used to playing solo that I thought the enemy had to be up in staging. So I grab that Marauder that I would have grabbed last round. I hope you're okay with that. But it just makes so much more sense for the enemies to always be engaged with the Dunedain side. And then, once again, I forget that Halbarad could be questing. So I will get that right eventually. 3 threat for the Chetwood Forest, and then this sucks. Oh, I'm so bummed. So it readies Aerion, he gets +1 willpower, and then the Orc Rearguard. No more than 3 progress tokens can be placed on the current quest each round, and then when you choose it to be the current quest, you have to reveal another card at the end of staging. So I only can place 3 progress on Gather Info. So no matter what I do, I can only place 3, and you need 4. So that stinks. I didn't want that. I was totally planning on Gather Info getting me a card, and then the Long Defeat getting me 2 more cards. So that's a bummer. So right here, I'm just adjusting my willpower by doing some discarding and using the harp. But to be honest, I didn't have to do any of it because Aerion's boosted and Halbarad should be committed to the quest. But at any rate, I can't clear anything anyway. All right, I don't want to travel there because I don't want to reveal a card. I can't go to the Chetwood Forest because I can't engage an enemy. And there isn't one. So I think we just go because I want to eventually clear that Orc Rearguard, and that's going to make me reveal another encounter card. So I don't want to travel somewhere that's going to make me get a card. So I'm just debating, do I travel to the homestead or not? And in the end, I decide not. So I'm just going to engage this guy. He's attacking for 3. I'm defending for 3. I discard 1 attachment for every quest card in play. That's nasty. Luckily, Hasty Stroke is on the other side of the table, so I do not need to discard 1 attachment. So thank you, Hasty Stroke. And then, of course, I handled that attack no problem. And there's plenty of characters that are ready that can kill him, and I'm just going to kill him. I don't want to keep these enemies engaged with me. It can get pretty crazy. You can get a lot of enemies, so I'm just going to kill that guy. And we are going to go into the next round. These decks are working extremely well together. The only thing is my threat. So I got to get rid of this homestead so I can drop my threat. All right, let's see. The Dunedain draw a sneak attack, And the elves draw a second Northern Tracker. That's nice. Okay, I'm going to be saving up for that so that I can start placing 2 progress every quest phase. The elves deck is actually the first player. Let's pull back the Elven Light. We get Fair and Perilous. That's good. And then I'm just going to discard a card to give my Spirit Resource to Arwen here. And next round I can afford Northern Tracker. So now we're at the point where I wish the Steward of Gondor was on the other side of the table. So you kind of hope for something that makes you discard attachments, and maybe you can put a second Steward of Gondor into play over on the other side of the table if you have to discard the one over here. Because I'm definitely getting enough resources and I have nothing to spend them on. All right, we are going to go against Gather Information again. One of the other reasons I didn't want to travel to the homestead is I'd have to get through 7 progress because I only have 1 progress on it, so that would stink. Okay, Northern Tracker committed to the quest, so I get to place a progress on each location in the staging area. And we are currently up against 5. I'm going to send Halbrad, even though the last couple times I should have. Okay, once again, sudden assault. So I definitely need to go find an Orc War Party, and I don't think there's any more in the deck. I think there's only 3. Yeah, okay, so we're going to dig an Orc War Party out of the discard pile and add it to the staging area. So that's 3 threat. Uh-oh. Okay. Orc ambush. This isn't good. All right. Aerion's going to ready. +1 willpower. 4 progress needed. Each orc gets +1 threat, attack, defense. And then each player has to find an orc and put it in play engaged with them. All right. I'm going to grab the Angmar orcs for both of us because that has a when revealed. So that won't trigger because you find it and then put it in play engaged with each player. But, okay, all of a sudden we got some major combat to worry about here. And in case you're wondering, you cannot use a test of will to cancel the when revealed on a side quest. That was explained in the rule insert for the Lost Realm Deluxe. Okay, well, we make enough progress to clear Gather Information. So let's not forget the progress from the Northern Trackers. So we get to find a card from Gather Information, and then we're going to shuffle our decks, and then we're going to draw the top 2 cards from the Long Defeat. There's definitely not enough damage on either side to worry about the second effect. So I think the Dunedain deck's going to grab Gandalf because I have a sneak attack in hand, and combat just got crazy. So let's grab Gandhi. And then on the other side, I really don't know. I have a lot of my good stuff. So let me just go through the deck here and see if there's a card that stands out that I really want. I got 2 Northern Trackers. Unexpected Courage could be good. You know what? Maybe Gleowine, because the Dunedain deck is short on cards. So maybe I grab Gleowine, and we'll just figure on Gleowine drawing the Dunedain deck a card each time. Okay, yeah. So I'll grab Gleowine, put that in my hand. And then now we're going to shuffle the decks and draw 2 cards each, thanks to the Long Defeat. Okay, everything's all shuffled up. We get Descendant of Kings and a Dunedain Hunter. That's decent. And then over here, we get the Gladrium Weaver and Unexpected Courage. Now that's 2 good cards. That's really good. All right, cool. I can travel to the Chetwood Forest because I have to engage an an enemy to travel there. So let's do that. All right. Shadow up. Let's go. So on the elf side, we're going to chump. So the Snowburn Scout will jump in front of this, attacking for 2. Shadow is +1 for each ally the defending player controls. That's nasty. Okay, that's a dead Snowburn Scout. Goes back in the Dunedain discard pile. And then on this side, yeah, let's see. I think I'm going to play Sneak Attack, Gandalf, the old combo. So in comes Gandalf. He could do a lot of things. He could kill one of these orcs. He could draw me 3 cards. He can't drop me threat. So I think, even though threat dropping is what I would like to do, that location up in staging is stopping that from happening. So let's draw 3 cards. Gandalf, a Durndingle, and an Axe Hand. All right, 3 allies. So remember, all the orcs are +1 attack and defense. Okay, and this shadow is -1 defense to the defending character for each quest stage in play. So that's -3 defense. Gandalf is dead. So I'm glad I just drew that other Gandalf because that definitely kills Gandalf. Okay, that was a big attack. This guy is actually attacking for 3, not 2. So it's a 3 attack against Faramir. and there is a shadow +1, and then return attacking enemy to the staging area. So Faramir should take 2 damage there. I'm going to get that right in a moment. So he has 1 more damage on him because I forgot the orcs are currently boosted from that side quest. But because Aragorn has -1 defense and the side quest is +1 defense, that cancels each other out, and the sword can help kill the orc war party, which gets me a resource. Okay, over on the elf side, should have done this first, but I'm going to play Stand and Fight, and I'm going to pull back the Erebor Hammersmith. Now, he says when he's played from your hand, so Stand and Fight does not trigger his ability, but he's in play, which is going to give me 1 more attack, and then I have enough to kill that orc. I also could have drug it over to my side after Aragorn participated in that killing attack, but I'd rather just kill that orc with the characters like I did. All right, moving on to the next round. These decks are working really well together. Oh my gosh, and I draw another sneak attack. That's nice. And then a Test of Will. All right, cool. Lots of resources on the Dunedain side. We're going to put in a Durndingle Warrior. He comes in exhausted. And then when he defends, you can damage him, and he gets +3 defense. So that's awesome. And he's Sentinel. So it's nice to have a Sentinel character on the board now. Let's also put in this Veteran Axe Hand. Just a generic ally from the core set. I can use Amarthiel's resources because I'm engaged with an enemy, so he has the Tactics resource icon. I'm going to heal 1 of the damages off of Faramir. I got that corrected using Lord Glorfindel's ability. All right, what am I going to do over here? Let's spend 2 lore resources, and we're going to put in Gleowine. And then Gleowine can be used by any player. So I think he's going to help the Dunedain player draw more cards. That's very, very nice. As I said in my Dunedain video, one of the disadvantages is how much card draw you're lacking with that deck. All right, I'm going to discard Hennemarth to Arwen's ability. The Silver Harp's going to yank Hennemarth right back. That gives me 3 spirit resources. I'm trying to save up for this second Northern Tracker. And yeah, I think we're good. Let's go questing. So the the Northern Tracker is questing, and I'm going to send pretty much the whole team over on the elf side. I'll leave the Hammersmith up in case I have to take an attack somehow. Let's also send Aerion. Halbrad is questing but not exhausting to quest. And okay. We get another outlying homestead, and that reminds me I should have placed a progress on the one that was already in the staging area. It's really hard to drop your threat in this quest. We get another Chetwood Forest, and then because we went against the rear guard, we have to reveal 1 more card, and we get Pressing Needs. Doom 2, when revealed, either search the encounter deck and discard pile for an encounter side quest and reveal it, or choose a different quest card in play and make that the active quest. Everything about that card is bad. Doom 2 is bad. I don't want to get another side quest in play. The other 2 that are in the deck are terrible. And I also don't want to switch which quest I'm questing against because I need to get rid of this rear guard. I just revealed an additional card so I could even go against it. So yeah, we're canceling that so I can get rid of this stupid thing. All right, so we definitely make enough progress to clear the 2 progress needed on the active location and then the 3 on the rear guard. 3 being the most progress you're allowed to place on any quest. Okay, so we got rid of that. That's great. And now we can't travel to one of these Chetwood forests because there's no enemy to engage. But because there's no enemies to engage, I feel like we can travel to this homestead and take another encounter card. That's the travel effect. We get a Marauder. Okay, when he attacks and destroys an ally, return the Marauder to the staging area. Remember, if we ever end the round with enemies in the staging area, we're raising our threat. So we're doing really good not having that happen. So the Dunedain deck's going to grab that. Gleowine's going to say, hey, Dunedain deck, draw a card. And we get another Durndingle. Okay, Shadow up. We got an attack of 4 and an attack of 3 because they're boosted. Okay, here we go. Sneak attack Gandalf once again. So in comes Gandalf, and I think this time, because I still can't drop my threat, and I have plenty of card draw now, I'm just going to kill the Marauder. It would have been, same thing, defending character gets -1 defense. Okay, and then Gandalf's going to defend here. There's a big enemy that's no longer a danger of being revealed. And then I'm going to kill this guy. I don't care if I have the tactics resource icon. I am just trying to get rid of these enemies because we gotta go, for goodness sakes. We haven't placed a single progress on the main quest. It's been nothing but side quests. And that's it. All right, next round. Okay, everybody's ready. Resources gained. We get a veteran of Osgiliath, and then we get Gandalf over on the elf side. All right, the elves player is actually the first player, so I want to get in this northern tracker. So what I'm going to do first is spend Eowyn's resource, pull back Elven Light out of my discard pile, which of course draws me a card. So let's see what we get here. The card we draw is a Forest Snare, and then I'm going to discard the Elven Light to give Eowyn a 4th spirit resource, which I will spend to put in a 2nd northern tracker. So now I'm placing 2 progress every quest phase on any locations in the staging area. Over on the Dunedain side, I did draw that veteran of Osgiliath, and that's a great one because I'm at 40, and if you're at 40 threat or higher, he gets +1 to all of his stats. So he's going to add some questing power. Okay, Marty pays for that, and then Steward's going to give me resources right back. Aragorn's going to put in another Durndingle Warrior. He should be exhausted. I forget to throw an exhaustion token on him. Not going to matter. All the other cards in my hand aren't really useful at this moment. I do have Gleowine if I wanted the Dunedain deck to draw a card that I could potentially get in play. All right, we're going to go against this other side quest because I just got to get them out of there because they're boosting everything. And we're going to send a lot. So both Northern Trackers are questing. The Elves deck is pretty much sending everybody, so tons of willpower coming from the Elf side. And then the Veteran of Osgiliath is going to quest. So is the Ranger of Cardalan. He can send 2. So when it's all said and done, 18. 18, and I got to put that progress on from the Northern Tracker. So it's 18 against 5 at the moment. We got to get through an 8 progress location. And then I forgot to put the 2 progress on the Chetwood Forest. I remember later. Okay, so then I get another Chetwood Forest, and come on. And then, okay, just the Shrouded Hills, which does not surge because there are 2 quest cards in play. So I added 5 threat, 2 locations, and I can use Faramir to boost things. I can discard cards to boost things. So I can make my willpower go up by quite a bit. Right now, I'm making 8 progress. So all I'm doing is clearing the active location. So I need to make 4 more progress somehow. I can either just use Faramir or discard cards. I decide, all right, well, I'll just use Faramir. And we will take care of that side quest. We travel to the Shrouded Hills, and like I said, one of those Chetwood forests should have 2 progress on it. I catch that next round, and that's it. Gleowine will draw a card over at the Dunedain side. We get Secret Vigil. Still can't drop our threat. All right, next round. The Elves find us a Hasty Stroke, and the Dunedain deck finds us a Snowborn Scout. That's great timing for the Snowborn Scout. All right, the Dunedain deck is first player. I am going to play the Snowborn Scout and place 1 progress on the Homestead, which means it's 2 progress away from being cleared, which is great because the Northern Trackers will clear it. Gleowine says, go ahead and draw a card. We get another Veteran Axe Hand. Yep, let's put that into play. I make a little mistake here. I say, okay, well, Steward will just basically pay for that. But Amartheal doesn't have the tactics resource icon, so Aragorn should have paid for that. All right, over on the Elf side, let's once again spend a spirit resource, draw a card. We get another Weaver. Okay, let's put the Weaver into play, and then she's going to shuffle in the top card of my deck. And I want to remind everybody that if you use an event to put the Weaver into play, like Stand and Fight does not hit your discard pile until after the Weaver's effect has triggered. So you would use Stand and Fight, put the Weaver into play from your discard pile, shuffle in whatever card was on top of your discard pile, and then put Stand and Fight on top of your discard pile. She can't shuffle back in the event that got her into play. Okay, yeah, Gandalf, I mean, my threat's getting high, so maybe I'm going to wait so I have 5 resources to put him into play. Let's go against the main quest, for goodness sakes. All right, and I'm going to send a lot. Hopefully I can win in the next round. So I can't get to 30 progress this round, but I definitely can make a lot of the progress. So we're going to clear the Homestead finally, and then one of these forests should have 2 progress on it already. So these Northern Trackers should have cleared one of these forests. I realize that in a moment. Sending the Ranger, the Veteran of Osgiliath, Halbrad. I have Faramir to boost people. I'm also going to send Iarion, For 1, the card we get is Surprising Speed. So either we return enemies to the staging area, and if we can't, Surge Doomed 1. Okay, so yeah, your threat does go up quite a bit in this quest. I'm at 40 and 42. All right, Surge. Surge is into, side quest. Lost in the Wilderness, so we're going to lose all of our cards. So that readies Aerion, and then we each have to put our cards underneath this side quest, and then when we clear it, we get our cards back. That kind of sucks for the Elves deck, because now I can't boost my willpower like crazy, because I don't have any cards in hand. Okay, that was the Surged card. Here's card number 2, and we do get the Angmar Captain. So the Angmar Captain, when he attacks and destroys an ally, we discard the top card of our deck, and if that's an ally, he's going to make an additional attack. Alrighty. So we added 3 threat, and then I'm going to get the forest locations sorted out. And when it's all said and done, I will have made 17 out of the 30 progress, thanks to Faramir giving a boost. All right, awesome. Let's engage this Angmar Captain guy. He's attacking for 5. I can use a Dirndingle, and the Dirndingle can give itself a +3 defense boost. So it would be 5 against 5. The Shadow is +1 for each quest card in play. So that means he's attacking for 7. I could use Hasty Stroke to cancel that, but it's fine. It's fine. I got a good enough board state that I'm not too concerned about this. So the Dirndingle dies, and because he took out an ally, I need to discard the top card of my deck and see if that is an ally. Top card of my deck is a Veteran Axe Hand, so it is an ally, so he's attacking again. Let's see if this Dirndingle can do any better. So once again, I can damage him, so it's going to be 5 against 5. And then this Shadow is attacking enemy gets +1. If it destroys an ally, return it to the staging area. Okay, so the Dirndingle takes 2 damage basically and survives. And then Glorfindel is going to heal 1. And then I don't want to keep this guy engaged with me. He's pretty nasty. So I'm going to use all my heroes to kill him. And then I'm going to get a resource thanks to the sword. And we will go on to the next round. Well, I don't have any cards in hand thanks to that side quest. I draw the Ranger Summons, which is amazing because I can shuffle a set-aside Ranger of the North into the encounter deck, and then an Unexpected Courage gets drawn on the Elf side. So, Elven Light coming back, so I can start getting some cards back in hand here. A Jeweler, that would have been nice to have had all my cards, so I could just put her into play with an action. Let's use Arwen to discard Elven Light, and then I'm going to use that resource I get to pull back a card and another card that benefits from discarding cards. Okay, well, I don't have any cards. I'm going to discard 2 cards and then use a Silver Harp to yank back the Protector of Lorien. Discarding those 2 cards lets me put in this Elven Jeweler, and then I'm going to let the Dunedain deck draw a card. It's a Dunedain Hunter, a card I absolutely don't need to play. I'm going to use the Ranger Summons. It's a planning action, costs 1, and then that's going to let me shuffle in a set-aside Ranger of the North. So this is an encounter player card, and when it gets revealed, it's going to surge. And it's really awesome because when it comes into play, it helps you out, and then you get to take control of it. Okay, I only have 3 cards in the encounter deck, counting that card, so I'm definitely going to see it. Let's put Unexpected Courage on Aragorn. And that's pretty much it. I'm card poor thanks to that side quest, but if we can quest for enough to get out of here, we're going to win. Okay, let's send a bunch of characters on the quest. I want to make sure I make the 13 progress. The Northern Trackers are going to clear the only threat in the staging area, so I'm not up against anything, and let's go. So when it's all said and done, I am sending a grand total of 25 willpower against 0, and I need to make 13. All right, the card I get is Pressing Needs, Doom 2, and now I need to choose a different quest card to be the active quest card, or I search the encounter deck for a quest card. Well, I don't think there's any left, unless I'm misremembering, so I have to choose Lost in the Wild as my current quest. So that stinks because I can't cancel this because my Test of Wills are trapped under Lost in the Wild. So I'm going to go against that, and that's actually a mistake. There is a quest card left in the encounter deck, and so I should have done the first effect, but yeah, we'll see. So I get the Ranger of the North. None of his abilities can trigger because there's no encounter cards in play. Let's put them over there. And then the final card of the game is unfortunately a side quest, and gosh darn it, Iarion, you idiot! What the heck? Rescue Iarion. 6 progress needed. Time for, when revealed, the first player loses control of Iarion and places him face down underneath the stage. When this stage is defeated, the first player may take control of Iarion and exhaust him. After the last time counter is removed from this stage, discard Iarion, which means you lose the game. I should have... I'm so mad. I forgot that quest card was still in the deck. So I should have, when I did pressing needs, I should have made that the active quest. Because I would have found it, it would have been the active quest, and I would have got Iarion right back. But instead, I didn't even look. And yeah, so remember that quest card, because that can stop you from winning, because now I can't win because I don't control Iarion. All right, next round. All right, there should be counters on that side quest. There should be 3 counters. We get Steward of Gondor and Gleowine, 2 unique cards that I can't use. The Dunedain deck is the first player, and I'm going to be spending some of my many resources to put Gandalf into play, and I'll drop my threat by 5 because it's getting scary high. Gleowine's going to let the Dunedain player draw a card, and we get Ingold, which is really nice because it's a bunch of willpower as long as each of my heroes has a resource. So he gets +1 willpower for every hero you control with a resource. So all my heroes definitely have resources, so he's going to be questing for 3. On the elf side, I'm just going to put Protector of Lorien on Éowyn, and then we're going to casually send 19 willpower on the quest. Okay, we're going to get Iarion back, and we get an Angmar Orc. So I got to discard an ally or reveal an encounter card. I will just discard an ally. There we go. And then the second card we get is, my goodness, so many needs to be pressed. Doom 2, which is scary. And then, once again, search the encounter deck for a side quest, which I know there isn't now. So I have to switch which quest I'm questing against. So that's going to be the main quest now. So at least I can get the 30 progress on the quest. And since there's only 2 threatened staging, I definitely do that. So we now have the 30 progress on the quest. We just need to get Iarion back. Okay, nothing too scary happening here. We're going to engage this guy. He's only attacking for 2. I will defend with, I don't know, Gandalf, I guess? Sure. And the Shadow is defending. Player either exhausts a hero he controls or return the enemy to the staging area. Okay, hero exhausted. Orc dead. Next round. I need to remove 1 more time counter from that side quest, and all we got to do is clear it and we win. Unless an Orc war party gets revealed, then I will need to kill that. All right, Ranger Provisions and Forest Snare. All right, let's quickly go through planning. We have nothing really to be worried about. I mean, even if we get an Orc war party, we can definitely kill it. So I'm going to play Gandalf on the Elves side so I can drop my threat by 5. Discard a card to collect a resource. And then Gleowine is going to let the Dunedain deck draw a card. The card that the Dunedain deck finds is an Honor Guard. And once again, I screw this up because I have Imarthiel pay for it. So I need to remember, if I'm not engaged with an enemy, Marty does not have the Tactics resource icon. Okay, nothing else I can really play. So let's just clear this side quest and win the game. I pull Elven Light out of my discard pile, and then we are going to send 20 on the quest. We need to make 6 progress. Let's go. The first card we get is the Angmar Captain. Okay, that's just an enemy. And then we get another Angmar Orc, so I have to discard an ally. And that is only 5 threat. So we have cleared the side quests, which should only have 2 counters on it. And that means we get Iarion back. We have 30 progress on the quest. We have no Orc war parties in play. And my goodness, did we clear a lot of side quests. That is a lot. That's probably the most I've cleared playing this quest. Okay, these 2 decks work extremely well together, and they're extremely fun. I think just kind of ignore the text that they're supposed to be individual decks. They work as a team, and if you showed up in a multiplayer game with either of these decks, just point out the weakness of the deck you brought and have your other players at the table have a deck that handles what your deck can't. Now I'm going to build a Dunedain deck, and I'm going to build an Elf deck, and it's going to be exactly the same thing. The Dunedain deck is much better at combat. The Elf deck is going to be much better at questing, and I'm just going to play them as a fellowship. I'm not going to even pretend like the Elf deck can beat any quest on its own except an extremely easy one, because it's not really going to have much combat ability at all. Okay, everybody, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you are looking forward to the next one, Take care. Bye-bye.